Alright, here we are again trying another round of Vintage Cube. I haven't had too much time to play lately, but looks like I won't have a lot left either since it's ending soon. And of course, we were out shopping for 4th of July things. We got something going on the 4th, gonna have some friends over, and I had to pick up a barbecue, so let's hope for some good, interesting Vintage Cube. Well, I like where this is going. I'm not. I don't think I've ever once in my life drafted Storm, so I'm not going to take the Lion's Eye Diamond. So for me, it's a pretty easy pick. I'll take the Mox Pearl. The power level of those two cards is the highest in this. There's also, of course, Wheel of Fortune, quite high. I could see that as well. And then after that, the power level drops down a little bit. Cards are good, mostly fair cards, but Mox Pearl is the pick. And here, one of my favorite cards in all of Vintage Cube. It is a spell that counters other spells. I like these types of effects quite a bit. It's my style of play, and I do not like having no defenses against some of the most absurd things that happen in the cube. So I'd like to load up on counters. A little sad to see the Volcanic go, the Jace go. These two make me sad. Misty would be really nice to have. Repeal's good. Skullcamp's quite good. In the right deck. Pretty crazy. But yeah, easy pickup counterspell there, I think. At least for me. If you're me, it's an easy counterspell. I would take a more powerful blue card over counterspell. But, you know, I'd take Jace over counterspell or something. But there are a few cards that I like more than cheap interaction, and that is one of the best ways to do it, other than perhaps Mana Drain. Something I haven't seen in a cube, I'm not even sure if it's in here, is Force of Will. I haven't looked. It should be, certainly. I assume it's gotta be. It's gotta be, right? But who knows? Alright, so what have we got here? Not too happy about this pack. I guess I could take Watery Grave for mana fixing. I could take Chalice for a little bit of rush. Mana Tithe if I just want a little bit more early interaction that goes nicely with Mox Pearl. Regrowth is okay. Sundering Titan's good if I can get Tinker, of course. Oh, otherwise, not so much. High Tide and Turnabout are both scary, especially in the same deck, although hopefully the same person won't get both since they're in the same pack. It won't be me, though. Confluence is also very, very good. Artifacts are definitely quite powerful in this format, but I think, yeah, I'm kind of tempted to take that Confluence, but it's double red, it's early. I think I'd rather just have Fixing. Fix is the most important color in the cube, which is, other than blue, which is black. Although blue-red is quite up there as well. White can be good. So Jace Beleren's extremely strong if it doesn't get interacted with. Tar Pit would continue to buoy my Watery Grave pick up, you know, or I could actually try to use that Mox Pearl and Watery Grave over there and take a Vindicate and hope that makes sense for me. If this ends up being more of a control deck, it could be quite good since it's a solution to a lot of problems. Yeah, it's between Jace, Vindicate, Tar Pit. I don't know for sure. Vindicate, well, it probably won't wheel, but I think Jace is actually, I think this card's really good. There are times when opponents just can't interact with it, and it just draws you so many cards it can just win a game very easily. So, Geist, Mentor, and Venser all jump out at me. Go for the Throat's pretty good too. But then there's Ujin. I'm not sure how much mana I'm going to get. I'm not sure that I can reliably play that card. Mentor can totally run away with a game. Geist can win a game, but and be a little bit hard to deal with. Can be a little bit slow. Potentially, I don't really want to be forced into white. Kind of like Venser. I kind of want to like not have to take a color unless I'm sure that I'm going to be using it, or don't have any other options. Here, I think I don't really have any other options. At this point, it's either Lyra, Dawnbringer, Disenchant, or maybe Sphinx. I could also take color fixing, sort of, but it's off colors in both cases, and that's not real exciting. Looter, not unless I was playing Reanimator. Um, Dawnbringer is extraordinarily good for control, which is kind of what I want to be playing. But so is Disenchant, actually. There are a ton of targets in the format, and I think that's a fairly easy pickup. It's splashable. Lyra forces me into that color, and I'm not sure that I want to be forced yet. So interesting here. I could take Sower, I could take Sphinxes, and I could take Land Tax. I really like Land Tax. It's kind of a pet card of mine, I guess. Sphinxes is pretty good, but you have to know that you're going to get the mana. I mean, you have to get to the point in the game where you've got the mana. Sower is actually really good, or it can be. It can also be completely useless. I think I'd rather just take Lancestral to go with the Mox Pearl here. Try to stay in 2 colors. And see what happens. I like Walking Ballista a lot. Some of these other cards I'm not as big of a fan of. I think I'll take Mystical Tutor, however, because there's usually targets that make it worthwhile. Well, there's the LED, went all the way around the table. It's crazy, but I think for me it's a Colonnade to fix this mana situation here. Which looks really nice to get. I'll take a Repeal. It's fairly easy pickup there. Well, Mana Tithe or Courtyard, I'm not sure that I'm playing black yet. So I think I'd rather have Mana Tithe than Interact. There's so many deadly things going on in the format. Yeah, until I know that I'm playing black, I think that's the safer pick. I think a very good Day of Judgment here for me. Looks like I'm playing potentially blue-white control, maybe a black splash, maybe not. So it's the other reason I didn't take the Courtyard. I'm not compelled to run the Watery Grave, and I didn't take the Vindicate early on, so because I took the Jace, and that might be paying off here where I don't have to make other picks that I might not want to necessarily have to make. Wow, that's pretty nice. A really good threat. Wheeled all the way around the table. I can either go with the cheap threat or the finisher for control, but I think I'll take the cheap threat so I can hopefully get it out early, like maybe an early Mox into a Geist, and then just quickly take over a game. Possible fixing there in some world, and a good sideboard card, so I like it. So it's good stuff. Alright, these two are definitely getting played. This other one, sideboard. So what do we have here? Elspeth, good finisher. Oh, wait, I did not see that. So I want the Strip Mine. I don't think it's going to wheel, but Mana Vault is an easy pick. It allows the deck to do things that I cannot do without it. Unlike certain cards that are, like Counterspell could be Mana Leak and still mostly get the job done, but very little replaces Mana Vault in terms of getting the job done, in terms of what that job is, which is making absurd plays. So I'm definitely going to take the Vault there. It's just a grossly powerful card. By Strip Mine, that Elspeth also looks a lot better with the Mana Vault pickup. The fact that I could go Land Vault and potentially have Land Mox, oh my goodness, how lovely. Speaking of cards that are better than Counterspell, is a mana drain there. I would very, very, very much like the Dack Fayden, but and Gideon would be really nice. Banishing Light would be fine. Polluted Delta would be fine, but Mana Drain is one of the best cards in the format. And it also means that with Mana Vault, a Mox, and a Mana Drain, I actually have the ability to play big finishers. Now I kind of wish I had the Ujin or something along those lines. A Karn would be a nice pickup. Something to do with colorless mana would be great. But I love where this is going. Well, it's not. Here's a card that asks you to. Hmm. So, I think the card that I want here for now is going to be Tezzeret. It lets me untap the Mana Vault. It's a good turn two off of a Vault. Um, and it'll kick out a Mox Pearl following, like, you can go first turn Mana Vault, they play a land, you play turn two Tezzeret, untap the Vault, or just fetch a Mox Pearl immediately. Probably untap the Vault and then follow up by fetching a Mox Pearl and have just tons of mana early on, which is great. So I think I'll take the Tezzeret, but I have to hope that I actually end up with some targets that I can fetch with the Tezzeret, which will make it a lot better. Ah, this sucks. Speaking of turn two plays that I really want, Teferi is a phenomenal card, so this is a very easy pick as well. Between Teferi and Tezzeret, I have like a Winter Orb deck being brewed here, a Disenchant and some artifacts mana, so I'd love to see a Winter Orb at some point. I haven't seen one yet, so it could happen. The other thing that I said it kind of sucks about is that I really would like to have that moat in this deck, actually, and then I could just not worry about the Geist, but I think Teferi here is still a wonderful, wonderful pickup for me. So it's either Git Probe just to have a thinner deck that has more chances to draw an early Mana Vault or Pearl, or Council's Judgment, which solves a lot of problems. And I'm going to take the Judgment because, well, Geist of St. Traft is a good example of a problem it solves. Wow. Okay, so again, I'd love the Trinket Mage. It would be wonderful, but turn 2 Coercive Portal or turn 1 off of Land, Mox, Vault, Portal, Go sounds amazing, so we'll take that. Huh. So I'm getting a lot of things to do off the Vault. I don't want to get too crazy. Like, I'm not going to always just have a Mana Vault. So there's a couple of choices here, but I do have Mana Drain as well. So I think just because I can go Colonnade, land, Mana Drain, land, like Gideon Jura, I think I will take the Gideon here. And gives me my third thing I want to ramp into besides Portal, like my third Planeswalker, which is pretty nice. The other option for me that is interesting is the Wall of Omens. Lingering Souls is also pretty good, but I think I like Gideon more for the way this deck is built to be very, very defensive here. A couple interesting choices. Thing in the Ice is certainly interesting in a deck like this. Almost no creatures whatsoever. Revoker can be good. Dark Confidant could be good, but I might be okay. I might not need Dark Confidant. I have Teferi to draw cards, Portal to draw cards. I've got Jace to draw extra cards, and I've got land tax as well. So I think I'm going to go with Thing in the Ice. I'm a little concerned about my early game right now, and I just don't want to get run over. So here it's Workshop or the Elspeth that I was looking at earlier. What is this? Destroy all creatures with power 4 or greater. Might be a second kind of pseudo Wrath of God for me. Factory is really slow. It's good, but slow. So I think I'll just take Elspeth. My curve I'm not super excited about right now, but wow, it's Planeswalkers today and all day, I guess. I have a Council's Judgment, so I think I'm going to leave the Banishing Light alone and just take the Gideon. This card's incredibly, like, OP, hard to deal with. I could take the ability to, I could improve the ability to splash red, although Dak Faden's already gone, so it's not as big of a deal to me. There is still, like, there's Nahiri and Najani and a few cards like that. Or I could just take Dahlia if I end up facing some kind of Storm deck. And I think I'll just take the Thalia. I have no idea what, I'm not sure that I would even splash red, even if I could necessarily. The deck's really looking good. I don't want to muck that up too much. I could maybe splash Tidehollow Sculler, or I can just bring this in against Thalia, and Kythian also can come against like a red weenie deck or a white weenie deck. So I think I'll just do that. I guess there's this that I could have thought about, as well as the Helix if I had wanted to with the red. Helix serves me better, so I'll take it because I've got a lot of top end stuff. I'm not playing a Goblin Guide, so we'll take the Recruiter. Can Recruiter fetch Finks? Yeah, toughness 2 or less. It can fetch a Finks, so that's cool. Spear of Heliod's out. Alright, so I have Finks and Helix. I guess I regret the not picking up the red, but not terribly. It's not a huge deal. So I can go for even more speed with the Ancient Tomb, which is where I'm leaning. There's also Glen Elendra, which is one of the greatest defensive cards around. Good night, son. Um, Against a lot of the things that are happening in the cube. Um, there's Anguished Unmaking if I want to take advantage of this possible blue black splash I never really developed. Gush is okay, only because I have tax, and you can kind of force it, get a lot of cards. If I had Library of Alexandria, then this tax gush library thing would be great, because then you could quickly go to a full hand. Path of Exile is also pretty good. Nothing wrong with the card. It's not great, but it's all right. However, I think out of all of these, because the deck's trying to cheat out some powerful plays early, Ancient Tomb makes the most sense. Like, there's just some gross stuff that I can do in this deck that, Coercive Portal or whatever. This is a little bit tougher here. I'm looking at, I don't have any fetch lands. I don't have enough artifacts for Workshop, so it's really just Vendilion Clique or Orzhov Signet. Orzhov Signet is a card that's really good with the Ancient Tomb and the Mox Pro. It gives me something to do, like it gives me a little bit faster into this Gideon turn 2, the turn 3 Gideon, Venser, Portal stuff. I think for all those reasons I'm going to take the Signet. But I really like Vendilion Clique for disruption, especially in a low, I have a low creature count here, but I think it's Signet. Well, this is a tough one. Again, the deck kind of wants to cheat mana quite a bit, and so Grim Monolith is extraordinarily good for me. But balance is also quite nice. Maybe I don't want to bother with balance. So here's the thing: I might not. There's games where I won't want to play balance. There are no games where I won't want a Grim Monolith in play. So I think I'm going to take the Grim. Hey, there's the Winter Orb that I was hoping for, and I think maybe the deck's a little bit more Orby after what I've been pulling here. The Thing in the Ice is one of those maybes. Instant or sorcery. I kind of regret not having the Monastery Mentor now in hindsight, but okay. So anyway, staying back on focus, I could take the Daimler Signet. I love a Signet with blue in it. Painful Truce is okay. Sword of Feast and Famine is the card that goes great with Winter Orb. Force Spike's actually good. Fetters is good. There's a lot of good stuff in here. Metamorph solid, but I think I was asking for Winter Orb. I got one. That's probably a good reason to just take it and be happy. Now, to go along with the Winter Orb, I could take Opposition. I also have Flooded Strand and Cryptic. Opposition Orb is gross. I don't really have a lot of creatures. Hardly at all do I have creatures. What do I have? But I can make creatures, so Elspeth Opposition is, of course, absolutely nuts. Gideon, Ally of Zendikar, works with Opposition. Then I have a few other creatures. I mean, I'm tempted to take it. I could take the Fixing, or I can take the Cryptic. I really like Cryptic Command. It's just a great card. God, Opposition Winter Orb just seems like such a house. Is it worth trying to do that? I'm going to try it. It's crazy, but I'm going to try it because I think it sounds fun and interesting, and more interesting than not trying it, I guess. So what do we have here? None of these cards are particularly good for me. I can Resto Venser, I guess. Very little else. Porcelain Legionnaire could be some kind of sideboard, maybe. What else? What can I do with the Legionnaire? I can get a first turn Legionnaire off an Ancient Tomb and take a ton of damage. I mean, it might be worthwhile. I guess I'll take the Legionnaire because it's all right, but not super thrilled by it. Well, Mana Fixing, Hallowed Fountain, or Enlightened Tutor for broken cards. I think I'll take the ET. I actually have enough targets in here, like being able to go get an early Crypt or Monolith or Coercive Portal, possibly even a Mox. Plus, I can put together opposition orb with that, so I think we're good there. Doesn't work great with one orb, but just works great against some of the madness in the format. I kind of like the Karakas here. The other option's Augur, but I have a Venser as well, so I could possibly do something with that, and I think I'll just go that way. I could take Port. It's all right with Orb if you have alternate mana sources. I don't really have, I mean, I just have the Mox, Pearl, and so I'm not really sure that that, I'm not sure that that works great. I could take the Spellskite, and I could take the Path. Path might be where I want to be. I think I'll take the Path for safety's sake. None of these are super great for me. I could take the Blade Splicer because it's best with opposition. I guess for that reason I'll take it. And it's a little bit defensive as well. Flicker Wisp, Tropical Island. I mean, I don't really have much of a reason to splash green. I don't think I'm playing Flicker Wisp at all, ever. So I guess I'll just... I mean, I could take Ultimate Price. Is there any reason not... like... I don't see myself playing any of these cards, honestly. I'll just take a millionth pick Tropical Island. Sword of Feast and Famine is awesome with Winter Orb, but again, I'm short on creatures. I could take Face Fetters. I really like Sword of Feast and Famine under an orb. It's gross. I just like Sword of Feast and Famine in general. I don't care much. I don't care what I get, honestly. I think the deck's pretty much built. Take cards out of their graveyard or something. At this point, I'm just... There you go. See, Edric Tropical Island. I knew there's a reason for that. Tropical Island, Bring to Light. Anyway, I'm not messing with any of that. I'm gonna reduce some of the cards in this deck, and then we're gonna see what happens. So, you know, realistically speaking, as far as creatures goes, I mean, there are a few that I could possibly be using. I'm probably not using Dahlia. So what should I be doing with this deck? It has some interesting things going on. None of it came together in a really tight way. Like, you know, it's clearly not like a fully fledged opposition deck. It's not a fully fledged orb deck, although it's got some really delicious ways to cheat it. And I suppose it all works together. I mean, there's clearly a theme here with this going, right? The problem is the support cards for these are creatures, and I really don't have a lot of creatures in here. In fact, I have a Day of Judgment. Still, maybe. So let's see. What can I do? I can probably cut Thing in the Ice. I still have way too many cards in here. I guess, is Gideon Jura too slow for this deck? It could be. It doesn't really do anything with Orb or... like, it's not on theme. Maybe it comes out and I'll sneak it in later if I need it. This is on theme with Opposition or Orb, right? So is this guy is, these just a great card. Just all great cards here. I do want the Blade Splicer in, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to cut. Maybe the Legionnaire doesn't make the cut. It's hard to say on that one. It's not stellar. Blade Splicer is a much better card for a deck with opposition in it. 25 cards along with land tax? Is that adequate? That's a tough one. I'm also a little light on counter magic. I suppose I could have taken that Cryptic earlier, but we'll see. So Path to Exile seems like it probably should be in here. Maybe I don't bother with tax and Tithe. A nice run Path. That's a possibility. Could take out Yeah, I mean, these are cards that are better than Path under the right conditions. Path is not great. It's only okay because of the orb. If you can put a tap land into play, it's not so bad for you, right? But it's a timing issue. And however, if Path just completely saves you, the question is often going to be, would Mana Tithe have saved you? You know, if it's an early reanimated creature, could you have potentially countered it if you pull out Mana Tithe? So at that point, the only question is, do you pull out Tax and just run Path and then run 25 lands? That seems really light. I'm not a fan of Path to Exile at all. I do like pathing my own creatures. For example, a Geist of St. Trath Angel. So you tap, hit him for 4, path the Angel, and get a land if you need a land. But you're still trading. I mean, it's a rampant growth for 1 mana. Which is fine if you're in certain, like in the control matchup where you're trying to get additional mana so you can back something up with a counter. But of course, at that point, Tax is better. If I'm going to run land light, I've got to run Tax, especially since I can kind of work around I can use the Mox Pearl to play the Tax, possibly go, Mox land Tax go and not miss a land drop on turn 1, but have a really good game against somebody. So I feel like the Path probably needs to be in there. I feel like I'm going to regret. I feel as though I'm going to regret not using it if I choose not to use it. The Sword looks a little bit decadent. That may be the card that needs to come out. I've got 2 attacking creatures, 3, 4, 5 ways to make attacking creatures. The Sword and the Opposition are the cards that really don't sort of fit this deck too well. Because I have other ways to cheat the orb with Teferi, for example. So if I were to take out Sword and Opposition, man, that just feels like a bad idea. I could fit in a Path to Exile and like Gideon Jura, I guess. Is that better? I don't think so. I kind of like... I mean, I think this deck's probably fine. I could try it like this. We'll see what happens. Certainly have the makings of what could be an excellent deck. So let's go 7/7, and then we'll take out 7 and 7 and an Ancient Tomb, right? Then we'll take out a Plains for a Mox Pearl. We'll take out a Plains for a Karakas. We'll take out a... So we're even. Yeah, so we're at... It's like that. I need a Colonnade in here. Just something tells me it should be 16 lands with the Colonnade. I'm not sure though. Tax certainly makes a difference, or can. 16 mana sources, I should say, counting a Mox Pearl as a land, basically. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, and then Ancient Tomb and Colonnade. So, do I have any way to gain life in this deck? I'm looking. I actually kind of want some life gain in here if I could. It would have been solid if it would have had one of those angels. It'd feel a little bit better actually. I don't really have anything like that, so I'm just gonna have to let that go. That seems pretty bad. Okay, so 41 cards. Is there a card I want to cut? Ah, man, that Sword. It's hard to let it go, though. The other thing is, what does Recruiter fetch? Fetch is 2 toughness. So what do I have far as targets goes. I really kind of wish I had that Trinket Mage in here. I'd feel a lot happier. Venser, Blade Splicer. Yeah, not that much. And how many instants do I have for my wall? 3, 4, 5, 6. Or sorceries, right? Yeah, 7. Can't. Doesn't matter if I flip with the Day of Judgment. 8. Not enough. I might just have to take a chance and go with a little less land and go with the 15 land as opposed to, or well, no, I am at 15 land. To go with 14 lands and a Mox versus the 15 and a Mox. It's really tough on this one. I mean, I'm trying to do too much, perhaps. I guess. How many dual blue versus dual black? I need dual blue early more than I need dual black, so I guess I can do it this way. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 white sources and 8 blue sources, and then colorless. 7 and 8. I guess that'll be the split. And we'll see what happens. No path, huh? Yeah, interesting. All right, let's see if we can get a game and see how it turns out. All right, here we go. Basically, I'm going to be hoping not to get mana screwed in my opening hand over and over again. A perfect example of what I'm hoping not to see. God, this hand has a ton of potential. But I think I have to mulligan because I don't have on-color mana. Alright. There we go. That's something. So if I can get, well, fast deck, and I'm missing a second white here. So if I get a second white here, then I might have something going, because it looks like, well, maybe, I don't know, maybe my opponent doesn't have an interaction with this Jace, and then maybe I can do something that way. Alright, looks like he doesn't. Excellent. Now we can go Jason to Tezzeret, I suppose. If I'm lucky, well, yeah, let's see what happens here. Nice. This is a wonderful time to Winter Orb my opponent. Okay. God, Tezzeret's crazy. All right. Let's all draw. Crazy good. Let's get this down. And put them in the clinker. Okay, so now I just need to get, obviously, I mean, it's insane if he sacks the STE here. Yeah, he's got to use it to attack Tezzeret down, which means Jace gets to feed me some more cards. I need to get Day of Judgment on board, so I'm going to untap Mox in the Ancient Tomb. Yep. Right, nothing too great there. So let's draw. Don't like allowing my opponent to hit his land drops, but let's see, is it more valuable? I think it's more valuable to do this. Okay, so now I want to untap most likely an island. I'd really like to see some white mana here. This is a little bit of my concern, right? Trying to figure out which lands, what was the proper color mix, but ooh, yuck. All right, his Jace is better than mine, but my mana base is much better than his. Oh, interesting. That's totally fine with me. All right, so he's going to take a couple counters off of this Jace. I'm going to continue to feed us both cards for now. Most likely, anyhow. Yeah, we can draw some cards. Okay, okay. So, I need Elspeth down. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 6. That's perfect. All right. And then we can start get opposition on board, and then I think this game's over. So I get 4 mana next turn. I think I just win. I mean, he can bounce a token, he can hit, I don't know, one of my planeswalkers or whatever, who cares? Sure. So he's going for Jace Ultimate. It's not super, it's not going to be super effective at all. Not when I can quickly Elspeth. Alright, so we're going to play this. If he doesn't have a counter, then he just dies right now. Awesome. Yeah, there's no keeping up with that. I'll take some more cards, thank you. I'll just yield through this turn. For now, we'll opposition him to death very quickly. Let's see, opposition that down. Yeah, I don't know how. This opponent's going to do anything. Tap that, tap your Deathrite. I'll go ahead and tap your Arbor Elf. You will, of course, untap a forest? No? Oh, okay. Just tap it if he did. If he plays a land, yeah, sure. If he plays a land, I just tap that as well, obviously. And if he does not, I'm going to opposition my Winter Orb, and then this game is over. Scoop. Thank you. Because we just repeal Jace back to his hand and completely take over from there. Okay. Not sure that I would change much. Gideon Jura, obviously really good with opposition. It hadn't occurred to me until just now. I suppose I should have figured that out, but it's also another card that I can ramp into. Bladesplicer is pretty weak. Geist is kind of weak. God, they're good with opposition, but I mean, Splicer is in particular. Geist really isn't. It's just a good card for killing a Jace, which is definitely something. More so than Bladesplicer. It's just, do I want to run Gideon? I have a lot of ramp. Maybe I do. Man, I'm going to feel really dumb if I... Actually, though, I didn't see... I may not need Day of Judgment against this guy. I guess it was hoping to play it right there, but not a lot. I mean, it wasn't a serious thing, and compared to Gideon Jura, I think Gideon's got a lot more upside than Day of Judgment, so at least from what I saw happening over there, so I think I'll go that route. All right, this is a modest keep. This is a... We're not pumping the fist here, but we're okay with it. Oh, I just took out my Wrath of God. That was foolish. I can't Mystical Tutor for... I have no balance or anything. Oh boy. Yeah, that was really, really horrible. I think that was atrocious. Big mistake there. Probably pay for it. Alrighty. This is bad news. Boy, I'd like a condemn or I suppose a path, but not so much there. Okay. What can I get here? I can. There's almost nothing I want here because, like with the Mystical Tutor, because I want double white so much, so that I can Jiraga. Oh boy. I suppose I could get a disenchant, but 2, 3, 5 mana over there. Yeah, that taking out that Wrath of God was incredibly stupid, I guess. My opponent is playing green. He just must have had a really poor draw. Well, that's something. One, two, three, four, five, six, 7 mana over there. Oh boy. Well, he needs all of it, so maybe I'll get to Mana Tide this turn. I don't know. Or maybe he's just masterfully playing around it. Sure. Sure. Yeah, I'm just gonna scoop. I literally can do nothing. That was absolutely stupid of me. There was no solution to that board except Day of Judgment. So just by pulling it out, I lost the game on the spot. That's brilliant there. I kind of want the Porcelain Legionnaire. It looks like it's going to be alright against this guy. Actually, Path... I'm still really torn. Pathing his guy to get him more mana, it's not the greatest thing in the world. Mana Tide was really weak there, but it doesn't have to be. And I'm going first this time. Maybe the sword's just asking too much. I think it is. I think I'd rather have this. We'll have to go this route. Alright, I would like to play first. I would not like to mulligan. So what do I want on turn 2 if possible? So I can actually tutor for a Mox. So if I go first turn, tutor for a Mox. Second turn I go Mox, land, vault, Gideon, activate. Does that make sense? Because if I don't do that, well, I could actually run it through. It doesn't even have to be a Mox, does it? It could be the Signet. So I could go, like, cause I have extra mana at that point. Maybe not. It's really frustrating that you can't really clearly and easily see your deck list. I suppose I should have screenshotted it. Screenshot it? Screenshot it? No, I don't know. I think there's a way, if I go into collection, freeform, today. No, it's not going to show me Vintage Cube for today. It's looks like it's stopped at some point. So, is a Mox going to be good enough to get me there? Is the question that I have. Because I'd much rather have a Tezzeret in play, I think. I think I'm just going to do this. I think I'm going to go for it and find out if it's going to win. If my opponent doesn't really do anything on turn 1, it's certainly a lot more likely, but okay, that's pretty slow. So yeah, let's go get Mox Pro. I could go turn 2 Corrosive Portal and just try to start drawing 2 cards per turn. Gideon, on the other hand, just draws and casts Knights, right? And it gets me more mana, and I can always draw the Pearl. I can always draw the thing later. Shoot. Maybe Do I want Pearl? Do I want Portal? God, if he disenchants it, I pay a big price. Gideon's much harder to interact with early on. I think I'm taking the Pearl. Pearl, not Portal, is what we're doing here. All right, here we go. We're going in on aggro. He's using a very slow Sensei's Divining Top. If he doesn't have like Pithing Needle or something along those lines, I think I'm really favored to win, heavily favored to win. So oh wow, that's nice. If I can get it on board. Question is, yeah, I think I just keep pumping out knights. Nice thing here is I can windmill slam. If I can draw an island, I can windmill slam Tezzeret and go straight into Orb. The other thing is I can stop taking damage. I can use Grim to untap Vault and still make the Orb play. Let me make sure that that's true. So if I use this to untap this, yeah, 3, 4, yeah, I can do that. That's fine. If I draw an island, it's fine. And if not, well, I drew a Blade Splicer. Question is, because I really want to kick out a the emblem. Do I sit back, go for Blade Splicer on the next turn? Because I mean, I'm getting to the point where Tezzeret doesn't even matter, and I think I just want a mana drain. Yeah, I think we just go Blade Splicer here. And the reason is that his ultimate is 4, 7, or 3, 6, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's lethal next turn, right? So my opponent can't really, if he wants to mess around over there and do something else, like it just dies to Gideon. And so putting my opponent in a situation where he's got to solve a problem or lose the game immediately is probably better off than trying to play a longer game, especially with the gambit of running out the Mox Pearl and just going super aggro. Okay, well, so he gets to live 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. So I am really glad for having made that choice. I would much prefer to draw a blue here, please. Oh, that is yummy. Now I can untap Grim if nothing else happens. Perfectly happy to trade off with the Mana Source to lose first strike. But this is good too. Man, that island was really timely. So if he has like Wrath of God with a, does that save him? So Banisher Priest kills the Golem. He can block 2 and then take 3 and lose, so I think that's okay. Like as of right now, he's dead on board still. Secure Tribe Elder. He's got 2 mana left over. If he uses it, he has to tap a blocker, so no. Beautiful. All right. Round one, done. Next card was more threats. Okay, so let's go back to the deck. I don't like this mess of cards here. Let's edit. What did I learn? I learned, not that much. Don't take out your Day of Judgment necessarily. Gideon Jura, question mark. Legionnaire, probably pretty good. I really do want to run the sword though. That's the thing that's frustrating. It's so good against almost everybody. If they're aggro green, it's great. If they're black control, it's great. If they're blue control, it's great, provided you can, equip and connect. But it's so bad without, the creatures to support it that I don't know. Maybe Mana Tithe is just not that good. Maybe I want another threat. That's a interesting kind of possibility, I think. Back to this again. What if I took out Disenchant? I don't think that makes any sense. I don't think I'm going to do it, but I would have Council's Judgment to deal with. I wouldn't have much. Also, Disenchant works nice with Teferi. Yeah, I guess I have Teferi to deal with things too, but... And Venser. This deck's fairly robust. I just feel like the Legionnaire kind of... It's got to have a place, right? It's a 2-drop for a 3/1 first strike. It's brutal. It's got to go in here. Maybe just take out Tax and then sneak it in if my opponent's a slower deck. I don't think that's right. It's basically land tax is in a land slot. So if I'm going to take out land tax, then I'm going to take out a land, is what it amounts to, and just play tax. Yeah, I guess I'll leave the Legionnaire out. I'll sneak it in if it seems like it makes sense to do so. I really got to do something with this. This commander deck is out of date. But then again, I've lost a lot of interest, unfortunately, in 1v1 commander. Is just a terrible format that I'm not interested in at all, which is sad because that was kind of my income. And then multiplayer is a great format, but it's difficult to find competitive, interesting matches to play. So I'm kind of in this limbo where I can't really play competitive multiplayer, one-on-one with the multiplayer list, which is the good list. It's not perfect by any means, but it's very good. It's much more interesting to play with than the garbage that is the dumpster fire that is 1v1 ban list, official ban list. So, well, enough staring at that. Let's see what we got here. Show me busted stuff. This is an incredibly fair hand, but it's keepable. So we'll hope that it gets more broken soon. Okay. I think, oh, well, I was thinking about going into Grim, but this makes more sense. Now I can play land Grim next turn and have counter up, or I can play land Disenchant and have counter up. I like both of those. The only bad thing here is I don't have Enlightened Tutor up, but I'm definitely going to get the Grim down. It's just way too much of an accelerant here. Not to be doing. Boy, what I want to see is like land attack you with Tar Pit. Oh, he's one short of that, but still. Yeah, I'm holding a Disenchant, so we're okay with that. little bummed about this mana not working out quite perfectly here. Would love to fire Disenchant off right now. That's interesting. So what I could do is run some mana into Disenchant Tax. Or I can just play land tax. And fire a Disenchant off later and just kind of hide behind counterspell and hope that my opponent can't push two effective spells through that I can't deal with. But since I have Repeal as well as all the rest, I think I'm probably okay. We'll see if my opponent wants to fight with me over a Disenchant. Nope. Beautiful. Ancestral go. So plains, island, island. So the goal here is to win or orb my opponent down based on what I'm seeing. I'm going to go ahead and get an island so I can both repeal and counterspell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So theoretically, I can play Elspeth, plus it up, protect it with a counterspell, right? My opponent would probably Creeping Tar Pits. The Elspeth. Then I win or orb my opponent and win. That's kind of how I see this ideal scenario play out. So let's go for it. Okay, excellent. The alternate plan here is that I just tutor up a let's try to protect it. Is that I tutor up opposition now that I have Elspeth running, and I don't bother with orb necessarily. So I'm trying to entice him into, if he's a control deck, into attacking. Oh well, bribery. Do I actually have any? There's no deck list here. What do I have? Does that hurt me? Something I can't repeal? Or opposition? Not really. I think I just win here. Okay. So let's get plains, island, island. So I can just bounce the golem or bounce the blade splicer. Either way, I'm fine. Let's go get opposition and call it a game, I think. Man, it's like playing against a real control deck and everything. Yeah, good game. There's nothing, there's no creatures. I mean, he could have gone and got Venser. That would have been good for him. I'm actually a little surprised he didn't get a Venser. He bounced my Planeswalker and just forced me to waste mana, lose some time. But, yeah. Not a lot I want to change. I could do something with Gideon, maybe. But I don't think so. This deck's pretty good, just the way that it is. This is basically the Brea deck in smaller form. Okay. Early defenses, fast mana, nothing to do with it, but maybe we can get there. My turn one is certainly better than that, but his follow-up may be better. Like, say he goes Dark Confidant or something. I'm hoping that his second turn is like the 2-mana Jace. that I can just Caracas back to his hand, or nothing. Maybe a Signet, I guess. Do like Baby Jace, that would be so good for me. Don't do Dark Confidant, please. Unfortunate. So I have no defenses whatsoever, but I can top deck almost anything and be in great shape here. I meant to always yield that. Oops. Gonna lose time now, and gonna lose time on the, there we go. The next turn, okay, I don't want that. Well, I mean, maybe. 3, 4, 5 mana. So I could play Grim Monolith Geist. Yeah, let's try it. See what happens. So I can next turn untap the Mana Vault with the Grim, but I don't like that because I have double white and double blue spells, and I don't know which one I'll draw if I draw either one. So for that reason, I don't want to. Oh, that sucks. Okay, fair enough. Problem solved. All right, well this got worse for me. Okay. None of these are legends, so I suppose we'll just play this and not open up Krakus for a I don't want to walk into a wasteland. So I can Wrath the board away at some point, perhaps. Oh, that's definitely not good. I assume, well, I actually don't have any idea what my opponent's going to get, right? We haven't seen any indicators. So I'd happily trade Geist for Ophiomancer and just take 2 forever. If he just sends in these 2 guys, I take 2 and don't get the option to trade. But then on the other hand, I get to crack back for 6. If he sends only the Kitesail, well, it's 1 per turn. Honestly, would I even trade here? I might just crack back for 6. Yeah. Yeah, I think this is probably an acceptable trade, right? Just clears out some problem. I could have used... I could have played Caracas there and then gone like for a Wrath of God effect. Question is, what else can I get in my deck? Nothing's coming to me. So I think what I'll do is this. Okay. So I want to get Caracas down because if he went and got Mind Twist, I'd like to have at least 2 white and 2 blue in play. Plus my legendary land. So my hope is that he got something like, well, ideally he would go like Dark Ritual, Grave Titan or something, just useless. Okay. Because then I can just Wrath, get my counterspell back, get back in the game. Revoker is kind of along the lines of what I was hoping for. So So I want to try to wait one more turn because I'd like to untap Grim Monolith, I'd like to Mystical Tutor, and then play land Wrath of God and have a counterspell in my hand after it all settles. After the dust settles. Now I can do it off of a vault, which is, you know, fine, but okay, I won't get to untap Grim. I mean, I'm not under as much pressure as wow, this draw. I mean, I was really hoping not to. I was looking for some action. Like what I'd like to see here is an attack with a tar pit. I take 7. It's a lot of damage, but then I get to clear the board, get that counterspell back in my hand. Huh. Or deploy more creatures would be lovely. That's not good. Not good at all because he could potentially hit the whole game plan here, which is my Wrath. Winter Orb. You only hit the Winter Orb game plan. That's painful enough. I wish this said legendary permanent. So the worst part about this whole thing is now he's got pressure, right? So if I wrath the board here, I'm still 2 turns behind. He's gonna Ashiok me, and then who knows what. It's just that I think I have to go for it. He may just counter it and then I lose anyway, but I have to go for it here because every turn that Ashiok hits me is another turn that he could potentially wrath me as well. So I'll go get, I mean, the other option I guess would be Council's Judgment. And then just eat tons of damage. What it comes down to is I think I'm going to lose this game. So my hand had, like, I needed to, I'm all dressed up with nowhere to go, right? I just drew tons of mana despite the fact that I've intentionally reduced the lands in this deck incredibly low for a control deck. And okay, you got it. Yeah. There's just nothing going on right there at all. Like, just nothing. That's a little frustrating. Yeah, that stupid 2-drop completely wrecked me. I mean, do I want to change anything? I suppose I could put Gideon in. I'm tempted to put Gideon in. It looks like maybe I just need one more. Yeah, I'm going to take the sword out. The sword is decadent. I think the Gideon belongs. It needs double white or something, right? This deck, this hand doesn't do anything. I mean, an early Venser is a joke. If I draw white, like, this hand is incredible because I can Enlighten Tutor for Mox and Simon Elspeth. I can Mana Tithe. Man, this is such a huge risk. I think I'll keep it, but man, I need a white right now. Please draw a white. Oh, God. Another card that requires white. I almost Vensered his Dark Slick Shores just to buy time, but I think that's crazy. So the problem is if I Venser the him, I'm destroying my own mana vault, which is horrible. And then I just get himmed again anyway. So I'm just going to have to let it hit me. Yeah, of course. But hitting the Enlightened Tutor I think is actually not bad. I really need the white mana to show up. Oh, thank you. Not exactly how I wanted it to be, but it is white mana, so because Teferi might be able to dig me out of this, or an early Elspeth could be extraordinary. Oh boy. He's got fast mana too. That's not good. Yeah, Teferi might be able to, whatever he gets. Well, this is bad news. He's going to say Mana Vault, I guess. Yeah, there was no way around it though. I didn't have, I was 1 mana short no matter what. I guess my opponent killing a Grim Monolith here is okay for me. I'm not quite sure why he did that. Like, why would he run the Vault into the Revoker? It's strange. Huh. Yeah, sure. Okay. Come on, Zach. I mean, gosh, if that had been almost any other card in blue and black, but Colorless Revoker doing something blue and black can't normally do, disenchanting artifacts. It's pretty painful. That's strange. No attack, no play. He's worried about Condemn, I guess. He wants to untap Grim Monolith is what it is. So if his plan is to untap Grim, I'm just going to run this out and see what happens. If he's got to spend mana on it, as long as it's not mana drain, then the Grim doesn't get untapped. Okay, cool. Alright, so bad stuff happens here, perhaps, but maybe I can Teferi my way out of it. This is a card that I'm certain belongs in the Breya deck. Is it -3? So he's at 4, so yeah, I gotta be a little cautious about that. Well, unlike Planeswalkers, you can't actually attack my Course Portal to kill it, so there's that. Oh. Problem. What did that indicate last time? Me losing? Start drawing some extra cards and see if maybe I can find a counterspell or a mana drain or more mana. It's actually kind of a reasonable suite of options that I could get that are all pretty decent. I want a plains and I want a mox. How about a mox and a land? I don't know what I want actually, honestly. I'd really like for my opponent to give me my card though. Okay. Okay. Yeah. That's not bad. Because I can disenchant the Revoker or the Grim potentially, but right now it's looking like Revoker. Maybe. So I could disenchant the Grim and Day of Judgment away both creatures potentially. I guess there's some options here. I don't want to get ahead of myself though. Mana Tithe is a concern. It's whatever or Imperial Sealed for, as I say, Vampiric Tutored for it. Whatever Imperial Sealed for is coming down next turn potentially. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All I can hope is that it's something I can counter. with my Mana Tithe, which has been completely useless every game. So, on the other hand, if I disenchant Revoker, I will be able to cast Teferi if I need to. So, I guess we'll see. He pays 2 life and makes a 6-drop. That's cool. I just don't know what's going on over there, and I really need a second white or a third. Love to see Mox Plains. That would be beautiful. I think I'm going to probably shift one of my islands into a Plains after this game. It looks like I continuously have a problem getting white mana, so... I don't know. The sample size is really small, so that might not be true. Man, what is going on here? Hello? So I'm going to eat the extra damage here because I am concerned about the Mana Tithe thing. Oh, vault's up. Oh, my deck is super mocking me now. This is pretty damn frustrating, to be quite honest. So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3. 7 mana. I still haven't drawn a mana source. Mana Tithe is going to be completely useless as soon as he untaps that Grim, I imagine. Third from the top. I don't exactly want to tuck a Muldrifter. I think if I could slam Teferi, I'd just start drawing extra cards. I'm just not sure that I can. Yeah, I think this was a very clutch turn here for me to miss a play. Like, I needed to pressure my opponent's mana here. Council's Judgment could potentially get rid of Grim Monolith, which would be great because, well, my opponent has too much mana, but I can't win a counter war. But I'm not exactly positioned to counterspell anything whatsoever anyway, for I have not drawn any. I haven't drawn the Winter Orb. I haven't drawn mana. I'm pretty much drawing dead repeatedly here, so strange that my opponent didn't untap the Grim, though. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'm not quite sure what that indicates. Why would my opponent not do that? Okay, exile one of them. So if there's a counter or a mana drain, I imagine that that's what it'll take, which would be okay if I can make a play here. If I can make a if I can go land Wrath, I guess that wouldn't be okay. But otherwise, yeah, see, this is where I'm missing the white because of the Mana Tithe. But, oh, we'll see. Well, if I could get a second white and I could use Teferi, get Teferi down, then maybe... I mean, I don't know what to do here. This is just nonsense. I really don't know what to do here. I mean, maybe I can cast... I can repeal the Mana Vault. Just to try to dig up some mana, I guess. I mean, God, this is a desperation play. Find me white mana, please. Find me white mana or a counterspell, I suppose. No, I really just need white mana. Just draw white mana. Do it. Mystical Tutor. Oh, wonderful. Uh, I, I, he's gonna counterspell. Like no matter what I do here, it's 100% going to be countered. 100%. 2 blue up the entire game. This was my window to make a play. So, I mean, I can run out opposition and then counter his counter, I guess. And then I have a tap mana vault and then hope that I can get something running somehow. I'm not sure how. I can Mystical Tutor and just try to get... I don't even know. Like, what do I get? I need white mana. Like, my entire hand requires me to have a second white mana. So, I mean, I can use opposition as bait and hope he takes the bait. But who would take the bait here? I don't think anybody would. I guess Mystical Tutor is my next best bait card. Let's try it. Sure. I'll go get a mana drain. And then I have to hope that the next 2 cards are Mana Drain, which I know it is, and a white mana, like it needed it to be the entire game. I must draw white, but at least this way, if I do, I can protect my play. 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. I can also play a Teferi and a Mana Drain here, so there's that too. Well, it's getting real nuts now. Like this game's getting totally out of control. I must find white. Okay, I found white. Okay, so maybe I can get in this game. Okay, so I can exile Gideon here, which is one problem solved. Take a bunch of damage. Wrath. There's still whatever... Oh, it was my Gideon. That was my Gideon. Okay, I see what happened. I shouldn't have repealed, I guess. But then I wouldn't have white, so who knows. So I could Teferi 3, 4, 5 and put Gideon into my deck. Not that I necessarily want to draw it much. But it does get it off the board, and it lets me have a Mana Tithe up for this, along with the Mana Drain, which I like a lot better. It's a lot better if I can pull that off. I've got to clear Gideon out this turn. There's no question about that. So the only question is, how do I do it? 3, 4, 5. Take a lot of damage. 1, 2, 3, 4. And tap a Mana Vault. I don't like that much, so I think we're going to go this route. I'm really hoping to draw some more mana here. Obviously, I have Mana Drain. My opponent knows it, so if he wants to just get it out of my hand, he can do that. But probably he's like, well, I'm winning. I guess I'll just let it go. I'll just kill him with the 3 creatures in the board. Yeah. Okay. I don't think my opponent knows how the vote cards works. I think that's what's happening here. If I'm lucky, he'll vote for like Grim Monolith or something. So next turn I really want to find, yet again, more mana, simply because I can, then I can Day of Judgment without having to tap the Mana Vault, which I'm really loath to do at such a low life total. So I'm also paying attention to the fact that 2, 4, 6 would take me down to 4. So if my opponent does play his man land, on the next turn he could take me to 1 but not 0, which I think is pretty important. And then I can start Gideon Jurying the man land, forcing it to attack Gideon while I develop the rest of my board. The problem is also that my opponent just has a lot of cards in hand. I would love it if my opponent would make plays. I suppose he could run himself out of time and I could win that way. It's not a way that I prefer to win by any stretch. Yeah, I hate the long pause here. There's so many ways this can go wrong. Still, my hand would totally outpower my opponent easily. Just a combination of opposition and Elspeth would be enough to win, if it weren't for the fact that it's taken me a million turns to deploy it. I've gone 21 cards and I've drawn my first white source. My first white land, 21 cards down. Now I know that I played land light, or white light, I guess, but I didn't think it was that, like, extreme. I think it was, like, reasonable to suggest that I would draw my first white mana source 21 cards deep. Like, at this point, even if I get a juicy mana drain off, like, what can I even do with it? You know, for now, I don't really have much because I'm color screwed as much as anything. Although I could put it into Karakas, Orzhov, Signet something. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Freebooter. Well, I have to try. I think I'm just dead now. Here's where the counterspell happens. Yep. Opponent did it pre-combat, so maybe he spends the 2 mana, maybe he doesn't. I don't know. Obviously, Day of Judgment has to go. I mean, I can... So, if I draw a white... What in the world? I mean, I'm 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't have enough to go opposition Elspeth. Yeah, it would have been 1 short. I could go 3, 4... I could go 4, 5, 6. Wait. 1, 2... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I could have gone to Fairy Day of Judgment, but I'm a white short. Why in the world did my opponent concede here? I don't understand that at all. Well, at any rate, I'm going to add some more whites to this deck. This is clearly bent way too far the other direction there. It's a little smoother. Yeah, that was one off. Because when you look at it this way, it makes more sense, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Plus 1 for each. Yeah, it's probably fine. Double white is pretty critical to this deck. I have no idea why my opponent scooped there. He must have thought... My opponent had to have thought, okay, well, he's going to sweep the board and then draw 2 cards per turn. Or maybe just win with opposition. Maybe he saw the opposition Elspeth. I don't understand that one. I mean, I'll certainly take it. But it's a strange decision there. Well, whatever the case is, I'll move on to the third match. I feel like I've kind of cheated my viewers there, honestly. Like, I didn't have to win that game. It looked like I was going to lose that game. I'm not really sure. Oops. I'm not really sure what went on there, so I do apologize if this ends up making it into the video. Yeah, actually, I don't have any way to edit, so there'll be a lot of dead space, and you'll have a video that ends in a kind of unsatisfactory manner in Game 2, but let's see if I can at least redeem myself in Game 3 by doing good things. This is a risky keep, but it has like some... It's good if my opponent's aggro, and it's really good if I can get that other island and get the Jace on board. Otherwise, not so good. So I'm going to lead off. Normally I don't like to lead off with vulnerable lands because of Strip Mine being in the format, but I'm going to lead off with the island because if I draw a second island, I want Counterspell on board. Island also just kind of makes people second guess sometimes what their plays should be. Okay. I'm going to click through here and make it look like maybe I have Mana Leak and then yield. Interesting. Well, do you have a solution to this? This will buy me a lot of time, maybe. I don't know. I need that. Oh my gosh. Wow. I played right into that. Okay. I need a blue. I just took an island out of my deck. Funny enough. Alright, well, this certainly beats that in terms of, wow, I think how it affects my hand. Alright, so we'll yield. Prepared to throw away a Plains. I can protect it a little bit with Day of Judgment. This is an interesting game. We do have a game here. I'm going to have the perfect Urborg, Liliana, Kill Your Geist turn, but I've got Planeswalker Answers, I've got some pretty burly threats, and I've got a card drawing engine, so I think pretty much if I untap, the nice thing is I can actually cast Day of Judgment and a counterspell. Not counting the card I draw plus the second card I draw, first and second card I draw. So it's solid. On the other hand, my opponent could always Liliana and like reanimate something. I suppose that wouldn't be great if it were a card that punishes for coming into play. We'll just see what happens. Hopefully it's not discard. There's a lot of things I don't want to happen here. It was probably on the list. Opponent drawing 3 cards. Not great. So do you plus Liliana or no? Make me throw away trash for hopefully treasure. Okay. Ooh. Okay, so if he is Reanimator, I gotta watch out for that, obviously. Come on. Grab another one, please. So, do I need Ancient Tomb? Or do I need Island? I think I need Ancient Tomb more than I need Island. Alright, the other way around. I think I need Island more than I need Ancient Tomb. Because now I have Strip, Insurance, but also if I want to play a card that requires blue mana and Counterspell on the same turn, I can now do so. So I've got a lot of mana for Tomb, so I guess that's okay. Hopefully it's a Disenchant target. No, it's an Acidic Slime. Well, don't like him. Pressures Jace. I don't like that. I'm going to need that Jace, I think. There's a lot of things I need. First of all, I need to draw a card that allows me to get in this game. Because right now, I have some advantage in theory, but I'm kind of losing. Okay, that gets a little bit better. That gets a lot better. Okay. So now I'm going to have to pitch a real card. And if I can get my opponent to tap out, then I'd really love to Enlighten Tutor up an Orb and then just deal with his Liliana and call it good. Or an opposition would be quite nice. So for those reasons, I'll probably be pitching Disenchant, hoping I don't regret it later. But I do know that there's other ways to deal with artifacts and enchantments between the bounce and the exile card, so that'll have to go. Missing that Plains right now. Sure would be nice to have a untapped Plains so I could Enlighten Tutor and Day of Judgment potentially. I still can off of a Jace, but it's interesting here too because my opponent has to decide if he wants to Liliana the Knight, which would be very telling if my opponent were to do that. Does he have some kind of reanimation effect? Does he have a big creature? Because I can smash in and kill Liliana with Gideon if he's not careful. So if my opponent had like a, I don't know, Living Death, I assume Liliana would be getting plussed without a second thought, so that can't be what's happening. Interesting. And me without my sword. I like the fact that he's casting before using Lily, though. Gives me a better sense of what I need to be discarding. Leovold. Okay. So I could win an Orb. Right? Yeah, but I can't Winter Orb Wrath of God. Dang it, this lack of white. I definitely don't want to be oppositioning with this in play. So here's the problem. I need to Wrath of God, right? I need to Wrath of God, attack, and kill this thing. And I very, very much want a Winter Orb, but I think what I have to do is hope that I draw either Winter Orb or a Plains. I have to hope that I draw a Plains, basically. If I draw white mana, then I can play the white mana, Enlighten Tutor for Winter Orb, Jace it into my hand, and then Wrath the board away and win. So white for a win? That might do it. Do we have enough mana? So, okay. let's make sure that I have enough mana. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana is what I need. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 mana. This might actually work. Okay, so let me make sure I have this right. So I play Mana Vault and I play Orzhov Signet. I have 1 floating. I Enlighten Tutor for Orb. I put it into my hand with the 1 floating and 2, 3, 4. Wait. Tell me I have enough. 3, 4, 5, 8. I need 4, 5, 7, 8. This only costs 1 because it produces 1. Right? Or does it cost 2? No, it costs 1. So I play that. So Enlighten Tutor for that. 3, 4, 5, and then I have 7 mana. I play this and I have 1 mana left. 2, 3, 4, 5. I put 1 into this and I have 6. Yeah, that works. Okay, good. Beautiful. Nice. God, I love Winter Orb. Eat it, Bao. Nice. Okay, so, I mean, my opponent can just disenchant the orb potentially and get right back into the game, but at least we have a game now. Alright, so I'll untap blue, of course, because I have white over here. That's actually really nice with the Gideon. Let's start pumping out knights. Jace does a hell of a job of making the drawback of +2. Like Winter Orb does a job of making the +2 drawback on the orb itself not such a drawback. In fact, this really is a Winter Orb deck, obviously, which is, of course, a deck style that I like it quite a bit. All right, so again, looking for more mana. If I can get it, then I can Venser, and I'm probably in good shape at that point. I want to throw away a Trigon Predator to his thing earlier. I bet he's kind of regretting that. Ooh. Was that -3? That's rough. So he's gonna clear the orb out, I'm sure, yeah. Okay. Bummer. Game on though. And a good thing is that I can kill this thing right away if I want to. I can animate Gideon and attack with both and just kill it. And if I were to do that, because I'm kind of tempted to sword my opponent, honestly, and not worry too much about that. Force my opponent to chump block here, most likely. Sword him. I think I like that. Let's do it. I should probably have attacked first, but yeah, I should have. All right, so let's do 1, 2, 3. Sword. Equip sword. Get the tax down. Plus this up and go after Liliana, go after Plumpkit. Presumably my opponent trumps here anyway. No? Okay. I'll take a dead Liliana. Another card out of your hand. He's the Liliana.deck over there. And then I'm good just hanging out with a Venser. Nice thing about Venser and Sword is if I do get my opponent to no cards in hand, I could have gone Venser, like Grim Monolith Venser equip kind of a thing. But this is why I didn't. And I was hoping he would play before combat also. So I'd have a blocker. Beautiful. Okay. Well, he's got some ugly stuff going on over there. Gideon Jura still want this in the deck, probably against this guy. He's playing green. It kills prime time. Maybe it should have been in the deck the whole time for all I can tell. Well, the sword worked out that time, didn't it? Disenchant had no targets, so we'll take it out. I still have Disenchant effects, so I don't feel too bad about that. Still not bringing in Path. I honestly think the card's basically garbage. I would bring it in against Reanimator if he were actually a Reanimator, because I would be terrified of, like, or if I saw something like, you know, Tinker Blightsteel, something like that. Otherwise, I don't like the card. Strange situation to be here playing in the finals with this deck, although I think it's good enough to make the finals, like, you know, some of the time, but it's not, in terms of power level, I have some great cards with the Vault and the Pearl. I have, you know, the Ancient Tomb and the Grim, so these are powerful things in the Mana Drain as well, but I don't actually have, like, the real super busted vintage stuff. You know, I don't have Ancestral, I don't have Lotus, I don't have Time Walk. I don't have a Soul Ring, Crypt, you know, all the real, like, really busted stuff. No Library of Alexandria, no Mind Twist. This looks good. X is 2, I'm guessing it's Green Sun Zenith, yeah, or 1 rather. Either way. That's nice. Turn 3 Tezzeret would be lovely, especially if he taps out for something that's not too relevant. Ooh, well, that's pretty relevant. Still, I have to Tezzeret, I think. Or do I? So I could Tez Orb him and then quickly move into Gideon and try to race the clock. I think maybe I like that better. I don't know if this is going to be fast enough. But I do know that every turn that I wait is a turn that he can potentially hit the Tezzeret targets. So there's only one left. There's the Mox Pearl. So hopefully he doesn't hit that. And then I can run him out without having to untap Grim next turn, which would be really great. I can just zero Tez. Gideon Council's Judgment sucks. Alright, so Mox Pro, what do I have left? Repeal, oh, there's a sword at 3 and Coercive Portal at 4. Just kind of want to keep those in mind. I'm more comfortable with tapping just the Ancient Tomb. Yeah. And hoping that he doesn't have a counter magic. Okay, cool. We'll do this. We'll pass. And if I'm lucky, then I can just bash that thing a few times and call it good. There's also, I get a Tick Tez up to 3, and then if I can get sword going, that's really lovely. Yeah, I need to slam Ashiok pretty hard here. He did get a Venser under there, so I mean, it could bounce something minusing Ashiok. It's not too bad. There's nothing he can bounce. Yeah, okay. Like, there's nothing he can bounce that, I mean, yeah, exactly. I just recast it, so. Unless he has a discard, I suppose. And what's really cool about that is I hid the Karakas from him, so yeah. It's going to be a good turn next turn. Unless I'm getting mind twisted. I suppose doesn't have to be a good turn. Oh, yuck. Okay, well, that's a little awful, but it's survivable. So which land do I untap? I want to Karakas Venser back to my hand. So I think what I do is I untap the island so that I can possibly even play it. Nice timing. I'll take that back. Thank you. All right, 1, 2 for Gideon. Okay, so now let's go after that Ashiok. I need to deal with it before I run out of time, but still, I like the way things are going. Excuse me. Both of these games have been super decisive in my favor in terms of the way that they've been playing out. It's doing exactly, it's playing out like I'm playing the Breya deck is the way it feels. Yep. Elspeth, opposition, that sucks, and repeal. Mainly the Elspeth going away there and the opposition together. It's a real bummer. Yeah, 3 cards that you can't use. They are yours. Just don't kill my Winter Orb, please. Alright, we'll so get this island down. I think I can just safely kill Tezzeret now and go get sword immediately. Am I willing to do it? I'm not sure. If I kill Tezzeret and I go get sword, I equip sword, right? Smash in, float 2 mana if I hit. I get all my mana back, which means I can. Yeah. See, the other thing is if I can tick Tezzeret up a little bit further, then I can just win with. I think it's too greedy. I think I'm just gonna go get sword. And then we'll go after, Gideon will go after Ashiok. Alright, so there's Ashiok, there's my opponent. We'll fix that problem with him drawing 3 extra cards right now. Connect, float to blue, resolve. So I can play Venser, possibly, and just set my opponent back on a land in play that's untapped. I don't think that's great though. I think I'd rather just do this. One, two, three. I can get Geist down. Still have a counter magic up, so I think I'll do that. Because this way, Geist is 6, this is 4 is 10, and Gideon is lethal, so. Also, if my opponent has like Deluge Force of Will, which would be crazy, but if he has something along those lines, then I just simply, I mean, you know I have Venser, right? Whatever. I just pick up Geist. Yeah, too easy. Awesome. Well, yeah, game 2 was a little bit of a, you know, not sure what happened there, but hopefully, at the very least, you were entertained by the way the rest of the Magic was played. And, you know, again, can't do anything about concessions, but I'll take it. I could use the points for sure. I still want to get a Teferi for this deck. The blue-white one that was in that deck should be in this deck. Not the 6-drop, but the 5-drop. However, I cannot afford it right now, so it's going to sit by the wayside. And then the other card that I'd really like to get is and I don't think it's online yet, is the 3-drop. He's a Merchant Scroll. He's like a Trinket Mage for blue instants that are 2 or less. So, you know, he just basically is Demonic Tutor for Mana Drain. He's a Trinket Mage for Mana Drain. I think he's a 1/1 instead of a 2/2, but still really, really good. Love to have him in here. And yeah, so those are 2 cards that I'd like to see. And since I haven't, well, I think what I'll do is I'm going to wait though on finishing the deck. At some point I'll be able to do it, and then once I can, I'll put together some more Commander videos. But again, I'm missing cards and I'm missing cash because we just spent a lot on 4th of July, and so that'll have to wait for a little while. So that's all I've got now, though. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this Vintage Cube draft, and I will try to do more videos soon. So thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.